Hey, folks, this just for introduction purposes, again, Scott Meyer from Patrice and Associates. And Scott, give us a background of where you are right now in terms of helping clients. I mean, it's obviously a lot of people aren't getting started and fully staffing, but they also may be looking for people. What's the transition been for you where you are? What do you got?
Yeah, so I appreciate great questions. Glad to be on here. Obviously, I'm with Patrice and Associates. I'm a franchise owner in Northern Kentucky. We are a group of over 300 recruiters, the largest hospitality recruiting firm in the country. And it's funny you say that. So just yesterday, we had a meeting about jobs and what's opening in our job board. So we are starting to see tricklings come in. We focus on just managers from AGM up to CEO level. So we had last week, I believe, 100 jobs open. We're now up to 200 jobs open within the last 4 or 5 days, with about another 100 that are on hold that are about to be open. So things are really starting to happen slowly, but definitely the workforce is starting to come back.
Quick question for you. Darren just gave a presentation about people in general, bringing the staff back. And I'm not sure, you dialed in towards the end. And so one of the things he talked about is really using this part of the process to ensure you get great people coming back. Take time with the interview process. Don't hire a warm body like you may have done 6 months ago because it was 1.0% unemployment and you couldn't find anybody. Talk about how you think about the interview process strategically, especially now.
Yeah, no, I mean, all along, I'm a strategic partner. So when I say that, it's a partner for both the candidate as well as the client, right? So you want to make sure it's a right fit. So whereas a business, you want to be very thoughtful and you're going to do your interview process, where someone like myself, a recruiter, comes involved, is really know the person in depth. So I've taken a lot of time to get to know them. Whatever they want to provide to me, I'm very 100% confidential. So the more that I know about them, the more that I can make sure it's a right fit for the company itself. So for me, and to make sure it is the right fit, it's a matter of knowing the company itself, what their mission, their vision, as well as competitors. So I know all the competitors as well. So it's a matter of what's the right fit for the company. So I take the time to really get to know them, to match up, be a strategic partner with the vision that the company has, and then present it, make sure it is a right fit. From there, it's, do the personalities match.
Roger, you're big on people. I remember interviewing you about how you handle people, and you've interviewed Scott. So you guys know each other. If you were to ask Scott a question about people and bring with your background as a longtime operator, what do you think is most important right now?
The most important thing, well, like Scott said, it's really about the chemistry and the fit, not just the experience. It's a personality type. It's an approach to the job. Are they leaders? Do they lead by example? Or, in their past positions, were they figureheads? I'm sure Scott asks all these questions, but it's getting to know a person as he knows, his client company, and putting those pieces together it's a delicate balance. And, he's looking at multiple candidates for multiple jobs, but really I'd say those are the key. It's like character, integrity, leadership by example, past experience, all these things kind of weigh in on this. And I'm sure I'm missing a few, as Scott will probably tell us.
Scott, I know you sent me your presentation of slides. Do you want to pull that up, or would you like me to pull that up?
If you want to pull up just maybe just quickly the second slide, just a quick brief overview, just so the audience can see a little bit about the business, and then really get to the third slide, the meat and potato, just some bullet points that really we've already talked about, strategic partner, and Roger made some great points about the attributes of the candidates, but.
Of course, my screen share is taking over the wrong screen. So, but here we go. I can't do it the ideal way I wanted to, but you guys, wrong screen.
Well, that's it right there. That's a good one.
Oh, it's not showing. Oh, okay. All right. So you guys are seeing it fine?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I had a test screen, but I got to reload that there. So go ahead. I'm on screen 2, and you want me to stay there or go to page 3?
I was just going to show just the audience a little bit of who we work with. So you can see a lot of large brands, but those are large brands, but we also work with a lot of, independent owners that have 1 store, 2 stores, 3, 5. So we work with all the above, but the main thing is the launch and the presence that we have across the country, making sure that we can fit, whether it be a contingent or a heavy workload with a retainer that needs to be helped, depending on if you're launching 2 stores at once or, the severity of your needs. But yeah, so I just want to show you that to see that what we provide. And then the last slide, the third slide, really kind of goes in the bullet points that just want to kind of have some quick hitters on that. I know Roger's been in the business, and Jamie, yourself, have interviewed many restaurant owners and having some great clients on already. But the main thing that we've talked about and it's out there, and that's really the trust and the safety right now, right? So
yeah,
that's what anybody that's going to the restaurant wants to see. And that's part of what having a recruiter, Roger mentioned, being very thoughtful and cautious who you bring back. And we want to make sure that when they do come back, the managers are managing. They don't, they need to be focused 100% on safety, the restaurant, customer service, not trying to spit time to hire and interview 5 AGMs and then trying to run back and focus on the restaurant, because they have got to be involved in the restaurant 100% right now.
Question for you, not to put you on the spot. Obviously, Scott is an executive recruiter, and so some people will use executive recruiters as a service. But stepping outside that umbrella, knowing everything that what are some other tools that people can use to find people? Just talk in general. I mean, there's word of mouth. There's a job board here. There's not Craigslist, but there's little message boards. What other tools are available to folks?
Yeah, I mean, great question. So part of the first thing that I ask a client is, how are you recruiting? So I know that their format. So it doesn't make sense for us to both be looking at options. I'm on all different options, but try and find an avenue that maybe they haven't seen. So a lot of businesses will join, B&I groups, different groups through the area, especially right now with catering needs and trying to do off premises. Great opportunity for businesses right now to join those groups and to make some connections. It probably won't be them, the managers, but if you've got maybe an AGM or maybe a key shift leader that wants to promote your business. So any local group is probably the best start, your chamber, to get your name out and promote your business. Not only that, you're going to make connections to find people to interview, to bring in. So that's one. Obviously, all the job boards, you've got, LinkedIn, you've got Career Builder, Monster, you name it. So the list goes on and on. Then you've also have a lot of people forget about Craigslist, so it's free. So these are all things that are free for businesses. You can upgrade, you can get sponsorship. Having a recruiter obviously gives that a little bit more as well. Having another website. So those would be the main things. Start small, start with who you know, and then I would say join some type of network to promote your business as well as find business.
Yeah. Another question about personality tests. So Jill, thanks for that. So does Patrice and company use personality tests? And if so, which ones? What do you think?
So great question. We personally don't as a company. We have DISC. We have the different personality tests depending on if a company would want that. Generally, because that's an extra charge. So a lot of companies don't really do that until maybe it's a higher position. I would say 9 out of 10 of your restaurants do not. Until you get up into, now if you're going to have an executive level, a COO, a CEO, you're going to want to have a DISC personality to make sure that everything's right. But if you're independent or, pretty much the list of all the restaurants I showed you right there, most don't. A couple will. I think that they rely on us to do that for them. I mean, like Roger mentioned, you've got to know the person, and I'm not doing my job as a recruiter if I don't know the right person to bring them to you. So definitely options. There are a ton out there to use, but most honestly do not unless we're talking the executive level. Then definitely a lot of options.
Roger, I've talked with Roger before, and when you ran your place that had just a lot of staff, you talked about this process. You had a couple particular questions you like to ask people because it's not always important if they've had hospitality experience sometimes, right? How do you phrase that question?
I had, not that these were odd questions, but, I asked questions that were very difficult for the person not to be able to tell me what they thought I wanted to hear. But it was really getting to know a person about, what are your passions? What are you most proud of? What are your accomplishments? If I was to ask, your favorite teacher to describe your personality, to describe what they thought of you. I mean, I asked all sorts of sort of off the wall questions like that. And I tried to get to know the person from a character and an integrity perspective, because let's face it, this business is filled with transient people, and people come and go. And unless you're recruiting and not hiring people, you're getting somebody else's bad habits and all that sort of thing. So obviously Scott's talking about the executive level, but in the trenches day to day with restaurants, we deal with lots of different people. And I just tried to separate the cream from, the C players. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in my presentation this afternoon as well. But really, yeah, what can you ask a person that really, allows you to hear an answer that's genuine and authentic versus just a canned response because you asked the basic question that they are prepared to answer, if that makes sense.
Right. I was just, as you're talking, I'm thinking, obviously, they can fool you, right? So,
Yeah.
Anybody can be great behavior in one day. So how do you get past that to that other level? Scott, I did see, folks, just for formatting, if it's a question directed at the user, go ahead and use the Q&A versus the chat, because we can see the questions better in the Q&A. The chat can kind of be more if you wanted to interact in small notes. It's harder to see the questions in the chat. But there was a question in chat that says, I think they're referring to the personality test. Is the fee, or it could be just, is the fee based? No, this is about a recruiter. Is the fee based on the percentage of salary, and is it earned immediately or after a certain time frame after the candidate is there for a specific time? So can you address that, Scott?
Yeah, I can. So great question. So I appreciate it. So the way that the Patrice and Associates works is mainly on a contingent basis, which is great right now as well, because you're bringing back staff. You may have an HR, you may not have. So we're based on the percentage of your first year salary. And so if you think about it, we're extension of your HR. We're doing those questions that Roger mentioned ahead of time, asking those questions that, where do you want to be, right? Where do you want to be in the next 5-10 years? So we have the chance to go really in depth to know the things that, unfortunately, interviewers, you're not probably going to ask. What did you like about your last job? And to really get those answers. So I'll get the 5 answers that they really like, and I'll get the 5 things that they don't like. And then what are 5 things you're looking for? What are 5 things you're not? So asking the right questions is the way that I help find the right person. And then the fee comes involved. So it is. And then the fee doesn't come involved until they get hired. So usually it's 30 days after they're hired. So you've got another month to pay the recruiter for the person that you've been looking for. So we're contingent based, and so we can be retainer if you're going to open 3 stores at once. You need a ton of help. Obviously, we may put something involved so we can just focus on just the business to get that up and running as fast as we can. But 9 out of 10, it's going to be based on the first year salary, based on a percentage that we agree upon, based on volume and how if you're looking for a very long-term opportunity, definitely I'm a strategic partner and build relationships as well. So
here's a question that I can't believe is not in the chat, and I have to ask: is that a real phone in the background?
It is. So that's funny. That's why I put it there so people
Oh, cool.
see. So yeah. So this is my. That's the.
It's the bat phone right there, except
that's right there. So it's part of the business here. So it gets a ride on my kids and their friends when they come over as well.
Yeah, no one knows how to use it. You see that meme on Facebook. Ask your teenager what this is and how to use it, and they of course have no idea. But all right, as we come up on time, last chance, parting thoughts, website address, how to get a hold of you, if you could share, Scott.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me. Obviously, best way is just shoot me an email, smeyer@patriceandassociates.com. You can find me as well on YouTube, Patrice and Associates, Scott Meyer. I've got a channel where I do interview CEOs, and I've got Roger, his interview is just on there a couple days ago. So that's the best way. Give me a call, 859-992-7181. You can always reach out to Roger and Jamie and get you and connect with me, but glad to help any way I can.
Perfect, man. Thanks. So yeah, good. We just wanted to come on and do a quick hit on recruiting. It's a lot of folks aren't necessarily there yet, but we want to get folks in the mentality of coming back and really focusing on having people. So appreciate you being with us,
Thank
Scott.
you, Scott.
We're gonna transition for a couple of moments into pause in a second. So Scott, I'm gonna say bye for now. If you drop the video, please feel free to stay with us as on the panelist side if you want to watch on. Appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
Guys, appreciate it.
Good to see you, Scott. Thank you.